Hey everyone. If you've seen my videos before, welcome back. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ross and I'm an intuitive counselor. And I love helping women and men who are tired of living their lives for others and feel ready to put themselves first. So this morning I was driving to the gym and this thought came to me to do this video. And I'm not sure exactly what got into my head to make this idea come, but it popped in nonetheless, and I love listening to the signs that I'm guided by, so here we are. And this video is going to be about this idea of being children in adult bodies. And I want to start with a story. So I guess it was about 2013, and I was living on Vancouver Island, and I had gone over there because of a relationship, and things weren't going that well. Things actually didn't go well from the moment that we moved over there. And I had this moment where we were in some conflict. My significant other looked at me and said, "You need to grow up." And my response was, "You need to go F yourself." And, that conflict probably continued for a little bit. And I was in complete denial about that truth. I was like, I don't need to grow up. That's not true at all. The next day I was out walking, reflecting on how things had been going. And, I think that it's interesting to note that at that point, it was 2013, so I was about 7 years into this journey of doing this work and sharing it with others. And as I was reflecting, I had this awareness of like, oh my God, she's right. I do need to grow up. And that was a significant moment for me because what I realized was that I had some work to do. I had to do some things for myself. And I immediately took action to go see a counselor and really look at my side of the street. At the time, I was also going to a men's group on Vancouver Island. That's actually when I discovered this whole idea of men's work. And this path opened up before me. And so what's really interesting about this is that, it really comes towards this idea of initiation. And we're really missing any sort of formal initiation in this culture, in my opinion. And what ended up happening for me was, as I set myself on that course, continued to go to the men's group, continued to talk about my role in my relationship and look in the mirror and look at myself and self-reflect. I eventually decided to go to this men's weekend. And the men's weekend is an initiatory experience. That was a really powerful experience for me. And literally, I could feel myself waking up. There was a part in the weekend where it was like my little boy kind of grew up and started to inhabit my body in a powerful way. And that was the next trajectory for me. That was this like really this new beginning, this next phase of my journey, and it was palpable. And it was then that I really started to notice this dynamic in others. And the most significant place where I noticed it was with my dad. My dad was very childlike in his way of being in the world. My dad was very childlike in his responses. And when I think of that, being a child in an adult body, I think what I'm really, thinking about is that the way that a child fights on the playground, a way that the child speaks to another person, in the context of the playground. And there's a certain energy that goes along with that. And that energy is kind of what carries along when we don't have this initiatory experience. And I saw that in my father. And I especially saw it when in later years, I was his caretaker when he had dementia. And that's when that childlike way of being really showed up and really emerged. And just to be clear, like I'm not talking about, the childhood qualities of joy and wonder and curiosity. Like that's not what I'm talking about. Those things are completely fine. And I think for most adults, we could do more to bring those qualities back into our life instead of being so serious. And I know that's true for me. Anyway, that's a whole other piece. But what happens is we get into relationships, and this was certainly true for me in all my relationships. early on was that I was definitely coming at the relationships from that childhood place with all of my emotional trauma, with all of my wounds, with all of the needs that I didn't get fulfilled from my mom. I didn't get nurtured a lot as a kid, and so I was looking for all those things. And essentially, what happened was that that behavior, that way of being so childlike in my communication, was literally keeping, the women in my life at a distance. And they were playing their role too. But what I needed to be responsible for was that. And so this idea of growing up and growing up into my body, it's actually hard to put into words because it was like a transformation that happened during that men's weekend. It was almost like a transfiguration of some kind, like something woke up and rose up within me, and then it stayed. And I've been enjoying the benefits of that energy for many years. And is there still growth to do? Absolutely. I continue to work on myself and learn about myself and to grow. But really the point of this video is to plant that seed. Like, have you had, that kind of initiatory experience? And have you had that opportunity? Are you, and these are tough questions to ask, like, are you a child in an adult's body? Have you had that emotional growth that comes with growing up into that adult body? I'm just guessing that a lot of us don't, and that, there's an absence of something in our culture that is creating that. Um, and don't get me wrong, like life will give you experiences that ask you to grow up. Life will give you experiences that force you to look in the mirror, and that work will happen. And so, in the absence of formal initiation, you will get it in some way in your life. And that isn't necessarily the easy route. So if like you can ponder this question and have some awareness out of it, of that answer, and then take some action, it's going to serve you well. So I think I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you feel called, you can subscribe to my channel. And if you want to share this video with others, please go for it because someone might benefit from this message. And if you have ideas of future videos or topics that you'd like me to talk about, please share that in the comments. I love being able to respond to people's questions, and I'm actually at my best when I am responding to people's questions. Lastly, if you're interested in the work that I do, you can visit my website. The link is in the details of the video. So thanks so much for coming, sending you unconditional love, and we'll see you again next time.